Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Step by Step Life Coaching Center, live here in Jacksonville, Florida. This is your life coach, Pheonia Laverne. We have an exciting topic that we want to talk about today. We want to talk about the authority that you and I have to walk in. Many people don't understand what that word authority means. When they hear it, they think it's about somebody bullying them, controlling them, telling them what to do, being over them. Yeah, sort of, kinda. That has a part to do with the definition, but not overall. You know, when we hear the word authority, it means the power or the right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. You know, that is what power and authority means. And if somebody is not connected to your life, it's hard for them to step in and you take orders from them. You allow them to make all the decisions, and then they come along and try to enforce you to be obedient or to comply to what they've said. This thing is pretty tough. But you know, what really gets me is when we talk about authority, governmental authority. Here in the Bible, it tells us, let everyone be subject to the government authority. For there's no authority except that which God has established. The authority that exists has been established by God. Romans 13:1-2. So I'm asking the question, God, you know, are you saying that everyone that's in the pathway of my life, that's giving me some type of directive, has been assigned to my life by you to tell me what to do, to oversight decisions that I have to make, and to enforce that I comply? Are you telling me that? Well, if God was to tell some of you that, you are already in the defense and the offense. You're there to say, hey, look, I am my own authority and nobody's going to tell me what I should do. Well, if that is what's happening, that is an attitude that we call rebellion. And in the things of God, unfortunately, if we are following God's way, we are going to have to forfeit some things on our jobs. Some of us have problems on our jobs. We're going to have to forfeit some things in the family dynamics. Some of us are having problems in the family dynamics. Some of us are having problem with just authority figures because we are and do not want anybody to tell us what to do. And I can tell you that's a unique feeling. That feeling is justified. Why? Because we do not want to suffer pain. We do not want to go through failures or setbacks in our lives. So we institute a protective plan to make sure we are our own authority. I can answer to myself if something doesn't work out. But what if the decisions that they're giving us is just not going to work for our lives? See, these are the things that are thrown into the pot that we have to consider the versatility and be versatile on how we're going to allow some of these things from an outside source to impact us. You know, we have a government authority of our land, of our nation, and they're making and wheeling decisions at a higher level, but we don't have an input. But we do have an input if we're going to decide at a lower level when we vote our governors in, and that, you know, our Senate and senators that are running. This is where we have the power to say, I don't think that the power or the right that you have to speak on my behalf, I don't think you can make those decisions for me or enforce obedience. So we put people in authority that can do it, right? So if you want a great man that's in your life that is powerful in authority, you will make sure, for example, or a woman that comes along that's parenting her children, that she or he has the authority, the right power to back when they give orders, when they make decisions, when they enforce some things in your life. So what I'm going to share with you are the three, there are more forms of authority, but let you hear this today. Romans 13:1-2. Let everyone be subject to the government authority, right? For there is no authority except that which God has established. The authority that exists has been established by God. See, we're talking about godly authority. We're talking about the authority where God has the right and he can back it up. He can back up because he has all the power, has all the resources to make sure that his rule and reign is sovereign. He's not only ruling and having power and authority, not over just you. He rules the whole universe. He's the one that's delegating to the church, to the people, to the government. Come on now, to the land, to the ocean, to the sea, how it should deliver its presence in front of you. I'm just saying, he is a sovereign God. This is just so overwhelming for me to try to talk about. But if you understand that particular aspect of faith, then you understand that anything under that comes, it has to take it from a higher level. It has to take it from a righteousness, a God level. That means God has to speak his authority to them, and then they carry out what he has said in their life. So that's why we have problems, because people don't have sovereign rules, sovereign rights or the power to back it up. So you are bound for failure. You are bound for problems. You are bound for those things in your life. So this is how we balance, and this is how we make sure things are right and tight. If you are dealing per se with traditional authority, that is where the traditional power a regulation is established, and you just follow it because it's safety, like the signs on the road that says go 15 miles per hour in a speed limit where there are kids. It's for safety reason. But you always have somebody that speeds like a lunatic going through the kid zone during school time. And guess what? The consequence, if they don't follow the rules or the action, is get what? They get a ticket in the mail. They don't have time to chase you down anymore. You get a ticket in the mail. So there are things and regulations on how you're supposed to act, and they're written, they're in the codes of law. If you beat your wife, if you hit your husband, depends on the city. Both in Florida, the state of Florida, if somebody calls in a domestic violence, even if you say you're sorry, somebody's going to jail. Those are whether it's the wife, the girlfriend, the kids, whatever, somebody's going to jail. And I think that's a great law because it incites and it stops people for doing acts of unkindness to other people, and it sends a message. If you do this again, the consequences is stiff. 30 days to a year if somebody doesn't drop the charges because you decided that you are not going to have traditional authority and rules and regulations govern the formal corrections that you need to do in your life to be a good human being. I'm just saying, that traditional is established. It was established a long time ago. So those authorities of the land is right there for you. Laws of being in the lands forever established and set and stored. And sometimes we have these traditional things that are set and established in our family line. Mama did it, grandmama did it. This is a family tradition. We go, that authority to do that has been set. Why? Because they have established that it's important for their family, and they've established that that it's worked, and this is why it works. For example, in some cultures, they pay a dowry for the bride price, and that's the only legal way. You put your financial assets up front to validate that you have the ability to take care of wife before she comes. You should be able to pour out into the family. It brings the family dynamic. It allows the family to make the decisions on and the care of who you will be in a marriage. The man has to go to the parents. The man has to go. See, those traditional things don't happen in our day and time. There are people that have tried to skirt around that, run around that. I don't think I have it. I don't want to do it that way. Maybe they didn't have the resources to validate their authority in the lives of the new family they're going through. I don't know, but I'm just using that as an example. Traditional based authority through the generation. We have to allow God to establish certain things for certain family dynamics because it works. It just works, and it's handed down to the whole nation. And it is followed through. And here we have the one that I have a little issue with, is those people that have the charismatic authority. And sometimes they inspire people to their personality, their inspiration, and their extraordinary abilities and quality is, and their magnetism that they have, exudes this exceptional power. And when people see that, they gravitate to that and they say, oh, wow, they are doing this. They're accomplishing this. I want to follow that. And if they tell me what to do, I will listen because I have seen the extraordinary quality. TikTok, come on now, Instagram, all of these things are flowered, if you will, in the bouquet of life that now people are getting on. They call it on the trend, on the algorithm of how they want somebody to tell them what to do based on the fact that they are professionally rising to the top, and they have that speaking power, but they may not have the characterization to go behind it. I remember a thing called Honey Boo Boo that was on, and I am not coming against it. I'm just saying what has come out after it, how it was a charismatic show and the children were being paraded, and the authority of the parents were being showed on how they're raising their kids, and only to find out behind the scene that their children were not being treated very well. Their money was being made, and the exceptional progress of their lives were being paraded because of their charismatic parents, and people followed and people listened and people did, but that authority was what they gave based on their magnetism and their powers to make people smile and feel good in the moment. That kind of power fades, you all. That kind of power is not everlasting, and it comes crumbling to the ground. We should never follow people that never follow God. We should never follow people that are a law unto themselves. We should always question the authority and the foundation and the power. Where do you get your power from? Some people think that money is the power, and because people have money, people will listen. Because people have I should say, a social forum. We should forward them, follow ex-baseball players, ex-football players, because they did this. They came to the high. We follow athletes. I mean, it's just the way it is, charismatic authority is there, and people follow. We shouldn't do it unless they follow God. Traditional authority handed down, through family and situations. Sometimes God gives regions that, and it's good for the family. Some of those things, based on how it benefit people, we should follow. Here are some legal rational authority. When we're in the legal rationalism, we're dealing with those established regulations, the laws of the land. You're going to follow them. I think the laws of the land are handed down through the directive and through the knowledge and wisdom of God for us to be safe. That's what it's all about. So today we talked about the authority. I mean, it's a great lesson, and it's something to think about. Who are you following? Why are you following them? And how, by following them, your life is better and walks in the pattern of God. Just think about that. Today is where we are in Romans 13:1-2. Let everyone be subject to the government and authority. There's no authority except that which God has established. The authority that exists has been established by God. God is established, and when he delegates that to you, parents, friends, co-workers, let's do it. Let's follow the directive. Let's follow, come on now, the orders. Let us make decisions based on the advice that has been given. And if we don't get it right, I'm sure they're going to put their hands to the wall and make sure we do it. This is a big thing in our life, authority. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. And we look forward to you joining us again at Step by Step Life Coaching Center here live in Jacksonville, Florida. Have a wonderful day full of obedience to the authorities that exist. Have a great day.